the next question, which and I've left this to last because I think this one will be the most valuable, and it was, you might remember when we had a conversation and I said you only need to prepare one script for your telephone calls because, you know, we're assuming that you're not going to get through, right? So I've got a script, Dean doesn't answer, we go through to the voicemail, and I then said, well, you also need to only have pretty much one voicemail, and then you said, no, you want to have more than one. And so people have had somebody send me a message saying, hey, Mark, can you expand on that a little bit because it looked like it was unclear.
Yep.
So what I meant by the telephone script is you only need to have one script. We've got 4 telephone calls sequenced across the cadence, okay? And we're going to assume that the first one, for example, no one answers, so then we go and leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
We then call them the second time. We're assuming that they don't answer. We're going to leave voicemail. Third time they don't answer. But if they pick up on the second or the third phone call, we don't need any other scripts because we're then going to have a conversation. So if you haven't picked up the telephone, I haven't actually said anything, right? Yeah. So then on the second call, if you don't pick up, I haven't said anything. So if you pick up on the third, for the conversation that you're going to have, that you've scripted out in preparation for the first phone call, never happens. So then if you do pick up, for example, on the third phone call, you just have that conversation that you're always going to have.
Understand. Okay.
Then where I said you pretty much only need to prepare the one script for a voicemail, and you said, no, well, I'd actually change that. Is probably where we need to explain a little bit. So do you want to expand a little bit on... Yeah, all right. Well,
let's distinguish between the script for the call if you're actually speaking to somebody and the script for the voicemail.
Yeah. 2
different things.
Correct.
So I'm talking about the voicemail script. So if I get 3 messages in a row saying, hey, it's Dean Mannix from XYZ.
Call me back.
Accounting package. We're doing some fantastic work with childcares in relation to, improving efficiencies, reducing error rates, and we're collecting money 30% more effectively than the average as a result.
Would you leave that long a voicemail, or would you just say, hey, it's Dean Mannix, I shot you an email yesterday, keen to have a chat, call me on this.
So it could be either way, right? But let's just say that basically you're leaving that voicemail. I think if you leave exactly the same, hey, Dean, shot you an email. Hey, Dean, shot you an email. Hey, Dean, shot you an email. It's a bit repetitive. It's not really positioning you as a professional. You might as well be a robot. So it could be something as simple as in the second one, hi, Dean, I know voicemails get lost often. I called you last Tuesday, but I'm following up from that call because I really am keen to speak to you about the information in that email. Please give me a call on 8267-5432. That's 8267-5432. Look forward to your call, Dean.
Okay, so I really like that one. That one's nice and short. The double phone number and everything else is great.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just make a little tweak so that it doesn't feel overly repetitive. And the tweak there was, Dean, I know that voicemails get lost, so I thought I'd call you one more time about that email I sent out. That's what I'm talking about. Just not radically rewriting the world, just little tweaks so that if somebody is picking up and ignoring it, the second time they pick up, they go, oh, okay, that's not the same one. It's a little bit different. And it feels a bit more personalised.
And so this is not on the question, but this is a question without notice. So what's your feeling on referring to your previous attempts? So some people say, you shouldn't say that, I sent you an email, that's why I'm giving you a call, sort of thing. Or are you okay with that? Because I know what I know what I like to do, but I'm just going to.
I'm okay with that if it's maybe on the second time, but I think that it comes back to. How much value is there in the client, or how much credibility does it create in the call? So the reason I like, look, I know voicemails get lost, so I thought I'd call you one more time, is that there's some credibility in that call. This is not are we there yet? There's actually some credibility in the call. If there's some value in the email, then it might be, hi, Dean, sent you an email, high level, we're improving collection rates by 30%, and I've got some great research I'd love to discuss with you in a meeting. Please give me a call. Then there's value in referring to that email. If you just say, hey, Dean, I sent you an email, please give me a call about it. I don't think so.
And I think the reason why people say not to do that is because reps go, hey, Dean, this is the 6th email I've sent you and you haven't responded. Like, I'm not on board with that at all.
It's pretty confrontational. And it's like, well, you haven't earned the right to be confrontational.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I think that's the distinction that people get mixed up. They go, oh, we shouldn't refer to the previous communication. I think particularly in a cadence, like all that sequence works together as long as you're not making the prospect feel bad about them not answering. And that's why I like your, hey, you know, I understand that it might have got missed. You're giving them an excuse, if you like, for almost not getting back to you. So,
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's because it's on us, right? So it's our job to be driving out, you know, doing outbound. So, you know, we've got to chase the client. I mean, if we're not okay with that, then we're going to have a really difficult time.
Well, but everything you do and say has to signal to the prospective customer that when you get together, it's going to be a valuable conversation. And everything that you do that is really generic or lazy in your prospecting process is sending a message to your target customer, your prospective customer, that you're a lazy generic person. Now, that doesn't set them up mentally to go, I want a meeting with that person.
Yeah. So, and I think this is the challenge. A lot of people have really good first messages. They spend ages writing out their first message, or, you know, and then as they get further into the cadence, or they reach out more times, sales leaders don't provide the right level of tools. So what happens is you know, that sort of desperation starts to build into the messaging, and then you're right. As a prospect, you're going, man, this guy already sucks. How bad's he going to be if I let him? Business with him?
This is your first impression. Like, get it right.
Okay.
That's why I think, you know, just the whole role playing, doing this stuff in sales meetings, doing a couple of warm up calls with a fellow salesperson. It sounds corny, but that is what best practice is. You know, if your footy team, if you saw your footy team before a game and they were all just sitting around in chairs having a chat and a laugh, and they walked out in the field, you'd be going, this is going to be really ugly.
Yeah, and a cigarette.
No, definitely not a cigarette. And but with this, you know, with sales, it's no different. The bottom line is, if the first phone call, you know, if your first action is in, you know, live and in front of a prospective customer, you're not ready, you're not warm, you're not, you know, and you're not improving. So let's not lose sight of the value of actually rehearsing this and playing around with it inside the sales meeting. And I think that, you know, if a team was going through the cadence process, they should just devote their sales meeting every single week to the cadence process.
Yep.
Because that'd be massive value for a sales meeting.
Yeah, and from a sales leader's perspective, really easy too, right? So it's just a matter of going, let's work on this part, this phase, if you remember, let's work on this phase, let's work on this part.
100%.
So, mate, I think we've answered the questions. Well, we have definitely answered all the questions that have been sent through. So is there anything you want to close out with?
No, just I guess, you know, I'm enjoying this format. I want to keep having these conversations with people. So if they want to send in, hey, have you guys got any content on this or that or this or that? Obviously, the library from a sales ITV perspective is massive, and definitely keen to share more content with people and engage in this sort of conversation.
Yep, and if anybody wants to reach out to either of us, feel free either on LinkedIn or those email addresses that we've repeated about 17 times. So maybe we should get our mobile phone numbers just engraved onto the.
Please. Leave my mobile phone alone.
No one will call it anyway.
Really, really good to sell me.
All right, Dino, thanks very much.
Love it. Take care, Marky Mark.